You can have the job you once prayed for. You can have people around you, a home, a routine, all the things you thought would finally make you feel complete, and still wake up with that quiet, heavy feeling in your chest, that soft emptiness you can't explain to anyone without sounding ungrateful. It's the kind of emptiness that whispers, something is missing, even when nothing is obviously wrong. And that feeling is more common than anyone admits. Because the truth is, many people aren't suffering from a lack of success. They're suffering from a lack of meaning. We live in a world that teaches us how to build a life, but not how to feel alive inside it. We learn how to achieve, how to optimize, how to stay busy. But nobody teaches us what to do when achievement stops comforting us. Nobody teaches us how to deal with the silence that follows reaching the goals we thought were everything. Psychologists call this emotional undernourishment. It's what happens when your outer life grows, but your inner life doesn't grow with it. You check every box, the career, the stability, the social life, but the part of you that needs purpose, wonder, connection, and depth is still hungry. And instead of slowing down to listen to that hunger, we often do the opposite. We distract ourselves. We work more, scroll more, buy more, commit to more. We fill our days so completely that we no longer have time to feel the emptiness underneath them. But emptiness doesn't disappear when ignored. It waits. In quiet moments, in lonely mornings, in those late-night hours when your life looks full from the outside, but inside, something feels strangely hollow. The question isn't, what's missing from my life? The question is, what part of me have I stopped listening to? Emptiness isn't a failure. It's a signal, a quiet message from the soul that the life you built is no longer feeding the life within you. To understand why emptiness appears, even when life looks full, we have to understand how the brain and the self interact. Because emptiness isn't a mood, it's a mismatch, a quiet misalignment between what your life demands and what your inner world truly needs. One major cause is something psychologists call hedonic adaptation. It means your brain gets used to the things you once dreamed of. The job you worked so hard to get, the apartment you were once proud of, the lifestyle that used to feel special. Give it enough time, and your nervous system adjusts. Your brain stops releasing dopamine for things it now considers normal. And suddenly, the life that once felt meaningful now feels like background noise. Not because it's wrong, but because you're no longer emotionally connected to it. Another cause lies in the modern rhythm of life. We are overstimulated. Too many choices, too much information, too much noise. The mind wasn't built to live in constant comparison, constant input, constant expectation. When your senses are overwhelmed, your ability to feel subtle emotions, joy, gratitude, meaning, becomes dull. It's like turning up the volume so high that you can no longer hear the music. Then there is identity. Many people build a life based on who they think they should be, the responsible one, the achiever, the problem solver. But when your outer role grows faster than your inner self, a gap forms. A quiet distance between the person the world sees and the person you still are inside. That gap feels like emptiness. Not because you're lost, but because parts of you are waiting to be found. Emptiness also appears when emotional needs go unmet. Not material needs. Emotional one. The need to feel understood, the need to feel connected, the need to feel valued beyond performance. When these needs stay in the background for too long, the emotional body begins to weaken. You can go through the motions, working, smiling, functioning, but inside, it feels like you're watching your own life from a distance. And perhaps the deepest cause of emptiness is disconnection from meaning. Life becomes a series of tasks instead of a story you're living. You wake up, work, handle responsibilities, and repeat. The days don't feel bad. They just don't feel yours. Routine replaces intention. Survival replaces expression. Emptiness isn't the absence of life. It's the absence of belonging to your own life, your own values, your own truth. But here's the quiet hope hidden inside this feeling. Emptiness is not a dead end. It's a beginning, a sign that something deep within you is ready to change, ready to grow, ready to reconnect with what actually matters. The beautiful thing about emptiness is that it isn't a flaw. It's a signal, a quiet invitation to return to yourself. And the way you fill it is not by adding more to your life, but by reconnecting with what makes life feel like yours again. The first step is to slow down long enough to hear yourself. You can't fix emptiness while running at full speed. Stillness isn't laziness. It's how your inner world becomes audible again. Sit with the quiet. Let the discomfort rise, because underneath that discomfort is the truth you've been avoiding. The second step is to reconnect with small moments of meaning. Not the big, dramatic answers society tells you to chase. Meaning lives in the ordinary, a conversation that feels real, a moment of creativity, the warmth of someone's presence, a simple walk where your mind finally loosens. These small moments feed the emotional body in ways achievement never can. The third step is to question the roles that no longer fit. Some parts of your life were built for a version of you that doesn't exist anymore. The expectations you once obeyed, the goals you once chased, they may not reflect who you are now. Emptiness often appears the moment you outgrow an identity, but haven't stepped into the new one yet. Let yourself evolve. Another key is connection. Not the digital kind, but the human kind. You don't need many people. You need depth with a few. A friend who listens without fixing. A partner who sees you in your quiet moments. A space where you can speak without performing. Loneliness shrinks in the presence of sincerity. And finally, you fill emptiness by giving your soul something to move toward. Not success, not attention, but purpose. The kind that aligns with your values, your story, your inner compass. Purpose doesn't always look grand. Sometimes it's gentle. Sometimes it's small. But it gives direction to your days and warmth to your nights. Emptiness isn't a sign that your life is wrong. It's a sign that your life is waiting for you to participate in it again. To show up with intention instead of autopilot. With presence instead of pressure. When you honor that feeling, instead of running from it, something shifts. The days feel less hollow. The moments feel more yours. And slowly, gently, the space that once felt empty begins to fill. Not with noise or achievements, but with meaning.